Hello. So we're going to do some rounding. This is a complete review of rounding. So I just adjusted my doc cam and here we go. Rules of rounding. 5 and up rounds up, 4 and down leave alone. Some people say 5 and up, give me a shove, that kind of thing. Whatever works for you for your saying is how you're going to do this. Round to nearest whole. So we look at the whole number. A whole number is all the numbers that are in front of your decimal point, and then we look to the right of that. So 56 looks to the 6. The 6 says that rule, round up. So the 56 becomes a 57. Looking at our next one, 421 looks to a 3. 3 says, leave me alone. So the 421 stays a 421. We look at 8,146 and we look to the 5, and the 5 says, round it up. So that becomes 8,149. Moving on to rounding to the nearest tenth. Okay. Rounding to the nearest tenth, we find the tenth digit, we underline it, and we look to the right. So we're just going to do that on each of these. So 9 looks to the 2, and the 2 says, leave me alone. So it becomes 42 and 9/10. 3 looks to the 7, and the 7 says, make me bigger. So the 3 becomes a 4, and everything in front of it stays the same. 9 looks to the 9. This is where it gets tricky. 9 looks to the 9, and the 9 says, make me bigger. But we can't put 2 digits like this in for it. So what we do is 9 becomes a 10, and we carry the 1, just like we do in normal math. So that becomes 57 decimal point 0. Rounding to the nearest hundredth. Here we go. Tenths, hundredths. 2 looks to the 8. 1 looks to a 3. 9 looks to an 8. Tenths, hundredths. Very good. So 2 looks to the 8 and says, make me bigger, round me up. So the 2 becomes a 3. Everything in front of it stays the same. 1 looks to the 3 and it says, leave me alone. So the underlined digit stays the same and everything in front of it changes. 9 looks to the 8 and says, make me bigger. So the 9 becomes a 10. I put the 0, I carry the 1. 9 plus 1 becomes a 10. Ooh, look at what's happening here. I have to keep going with this, and then it goes back to normal. So be careful. That 9 looks to the 8, says make me bigger. That became a 10. We put the 0, carry the 1. That became 10. Put the 0, carry the 1. Be careful on those things. Here we go. Now, nearest thousand. 1 looks to the 6 and says make me bigger. So the 1 becomes a 2. Everything in front of it stays the same. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 9 looks to the 8, says make me bigger. 9 becomes a 10. We carry the 1, that same little process, but we didn't have to go far with that carrying 1 issue. So 146 and 260 thousandths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 2 looks to the 2, and it says leave me alone. So the 2 gets left alone. Everything in front of it stays the same. That is a recap on rounding, remembering of the rules. 5 and up rounds up, 4 and down leave alone. And as always, this is Miss Bobby, and I love, let's color that in,